Coming off an up-and-down sophomore season, he threw 13 interceptions this past year compared to only 4 as a rookie, and the Cowboys missed the playoffs. Jason Garrett made some pretty strong comments yesterday about Dak. Let's take a listen.
He's done a lot of really good things, but he can improve in every aspect of his game. His understanding of what we're doing, his understanding of what the defense is doing, how those fit together. Physically, he can get better. You know, the way he gets away from center, his mechanics in the gun, the way he throws the football, his decisiveness, his decision-making. All of those things can get better, and they will get better.
Shannon, do you like Garrett saying this?
I do not like it because I thought it was a really harsh critique and something that didn't need to be said publicly. Skip, if I go to the mechanic and he says, Mr. Sharp, you need a new engine, new transmission, new axle, 4 new tires. Hell, I need a new car. Skip, it seems like they're in the market for a new quarterback. I mean, what does that... I mean, he said from his understanding of our offense, understanding of what the defense is doing, the way he goes about, takes the snap from center, the way he is pocket present, throwing the ball. I'm like, well, damn. If I'm Dak, I'll say, you know what? They ask me something about Jason Garrett, I'll say, you know what? I like, he needs to work on some things. His in-game adjustments, second half adjustments, his uses of timeouts and challenges, the way we practice. I need Jason to get better on that. Skip, I just thought this was really harsh. I really thought it was unnecessary to say this publicly. If you want to say, Dak, I need you to work on these things privately. Because basically, he just said, Dak, nothing you've done over the last 2 years has really been good. So basically, I need you to just wipe the slate clean and start over again. I understand that the really great players, they have to reinvent themselves every year. What that means, Skip, is that they build on, you know, because they know teams like, okay, we're going to take the running game away. Okay, Dak, go beat us. But Skip, the way he takes the ball from center, the way he gets, what? Y'all on the market for a new quarterback, Skip.
So we're going to trade up for Josh Rosen now? I don't know.
All I'm
saying,
saying,
what we're doing?
But see, hey, I gave him an F. What did Jason Garrett just give him, Skip?
Well, that's why when I heard that, I wondered if you're now a ventriloquist, because I thought you were speaking for Jason Garrett, right? So I'm surprised that you have an issue with it, because I would think everything he said, you believe.
There are some things he needs to work on, Skip, but just because it's the right thing to say, everything doesn't need to be voiced publicly.
That's a fact.
He could have talked to Dak behind closed door. I don't believe he said those things that he said right now. I don't believe he said those to Dak in the closeout meeting. I don't believe he ever said that. But now,
because it's not his style, and I know Jason.
And now
that's not his management style.
But now all of a sudden he wants to be honest, because when they ask him about Dez, we haven't got to that process yet. Now because Dez, Brian, he's still there. Dez, Stephen Jones, even last year during the season, Skip, I just thought this was a very harsh critique of second-year quarterback Dak Prescott. They're going to be growing pains, but to basically say we need a new quarterback. That's basically what he said. Although you're not going to get one. The guy needs to take the ball from center better. The way he sets up in the pocket, the understanding of the offense. I get that, Skip, but come on, bro. That was unnecessary, I thought.
I was so offended by what became a scathing critique from a coach who doesn't even deserve to keep his job as the head coach of America's team. I've said for at least 2 years, really 3 years, I don't know how he keeps his job, except, speaking of puppets, he is Jerry's #1 puppet, and he is treated like another quote-unquote son of Jerry Jones. But to your point, scathing critiques about all Jason does well is clap on the field. He claps after touchdowns. He claps after turnovers. He just keeps clapping on the sideline. Are you there? Are you alive? Are you a robot? He just claps. And, you know, Jason could work on his clock management, his in-game decision-making, his motivational skills are highly questionable. His halftime speeches don't ever seem to work, because I don't know what he says at halftime. It must be on a loop. He just says the same thing every halftime, because the words no longer resonate in that locker room, because you know how many halftime leads got blown by second-half debacles.
And was there a game last year, Skip, in which they were down at the half, in which they came back and won?
I can't think of one, but I can tell you a bunch where they were up pretty significantly at half.
Yes.
Starting with the Rams and the Packers at home, and those were absolute nightmares for me in the second half. Way to go, Coach Clapp. So, speaking of puppets again, it did give me pause to wonder, because Jason says what Jerry wants him to say, and it made me wonder, did Jerry tell Jason we need to light a fire under Dak? Is Jerry harping on what I brought up, what was it, about 10 days ago on the show, that all of a sudden Dak Prescott in his second year has not one or two or three, he's got 12 national advertisements that he does for 12 different big corporation companies? I don't know. Maybe he's upset with that. Or maybe Jerry, because we harped on this, maybe he's starting to miss Tony Romo. Maybe he's starting to say, I told you so. We should have hung on. We should have talked Tony back out of the booth. Because remember, what did Jerry say? My only regret, or his biggest regret, in all of his football career in Dallas was I didn't win a Super Bowl with Tony Romo.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what, Jerry? Not only did you not win a Super Bowl, you didn't even sniff a Super Bowl with Tony Romo because you never even got to the NFC Championship game.
You only won like 2 games with Tony Romo.
I know. So you got to the division round once against Brett Favre, which was a debacle up in Minnesota. Remember that game?
Correct.
And then remember they eked one out against Detroit. And I give you that they got a big officiating break in that game. And then they went up and got rawly robbed.
No,
yeah, it was a robbery because you know it was a catch. By the
no.
way, I tweeted last night that I hope all those people, you know, all those you've got like 20 followers, or you know, they watch what I don't know how many you have. I never looked. But
they watch
I wanted them. I tweeted about you that please go tell the Hall of Famer that was a catch.
No,
because it was just
Mike Pereira had a good conversation with him last night. He said everything you said, Shannon, was absolutely true.
And he used to work for
the NFL.
Yeah. Okay.
But here's the thing, Skip. Now you know he's been very critical of some of the calls that the NFL has.
He has.
So he's on my side.
Well, so he said to your face.
No, he said. But so you don't want to agree with an official. You want to agree with John Mara. Okay.
No, did he not just blatantly say, obviously it was a catch?
No.
That's the owner of the New York Football Giants publicly admitting that.
Yeah. What he's saying, if the rules were in place today like that in 2014, that would have been a catch. But we're not talking about the catch.
No,
we're talking about your coach and how he offered this scathing.
It was a scathing critique.
Harsh
It was very harsh. So, look, obviously, stepping back from this, does Dak need to improve in lots of... What third-year quarterback doesn't need to improve except for Tom Brady once upon a time? But that's neither here nor there.
Oh, stop it.
You
Because you remember what happened this third year. They went 8-8.
Okay.
We beat the brakes off them up in New England. Yeah.
And then he won his third Super Bowl.
Yeah, then they came to Denver and they beat us.
Okay. So, I get all that. But, to your point, you were the one who you beat your desk all year long talking about how Dak Prescott's #1 target was a broken down shell of himself and a liability, right?
Yeah.
And I kept telling you, I don't see one receiver that he has who can uncover, who can separate.
No.
Except for Bryce Butler, who didn't get to play very much.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And the offensive line, I don't know what happened to it, but you want to talk about underachieving or maybe being overrated? One of those two applies. Right?
Yeah, you're right, Skip. But here's the thing. And this is what, and no one is really talking about this because they really like him. But Jason Witten, he ain't getting separation either.
Okay. He can wall people off and catch it for 4 yards.
Yeah.
I give you that.
But Skip.
And when in doubt, you just throw it to that big body and you get 4 yards.
But the team, look at
No, I got it.
Look at
He can't turn and go with it.
No, you look at the receivers that turn and go, and their teams were in the playoffs.
Okay.
Look at New England. You look at Philly with Ertz. You look at Kansas City with Kelsey. You look at Delaney Walker. You look at the guys that were in the playoffs.
I give you that.
The team, excuse me, and their tight ends.
Okay. So then I look at no Zeke for 6 games, and you told me that was a huge deal, right?
That was huge.
And I look, this is a huge deal on my part. No Sean Lee, the driving force, the key player on the defense, was gone for 6 games.
Yes.
So if you total all that up, I'd say that's going to be a pretty hard year for a sophomore quarterback who had a great rookie year, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then we sum it up and we say, okay, what happens statistically? And I'm going to say it one more time. Dak Prescott was 3rd in the NFL in QBR as a rookie. That's pretty great. And last year he plummeted all the way to 4th in the NFL in QBR. That's not terrible. But that's not an F.
Well, what happened is that if he'd had the sophomore season, his rookie year, and the rookie season, his sophomore year, but the expectations were so high considering where he was his rookie year, Skip, 13-3, 26-4. I mean, did they really expect Dak to go, what, 30-2, touchdown interception, and all of a sudden they go 14-2 and go win the Super Bowl? We knew there was going to be some fallback, Skip. And as you mentioned, Zeke being everything worked perfectly his rookie year. Everything, all the pieces fit perfectly. Everything fell into place. So, but this critique of him, of Dak, I just thought publicly, Skip, especially for a quarterback. Normally, you don't have to light fires up under quarterbacks. Those guys, the really good ones, are very self-motivated. And like I said, Dak strikes me as a guy that's very and he said it himself, I need to get better. He's going to go into the lab. He's going to study. He's going to work on his footwork. He's going to work on his accuracy.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. But the conversation that Dak had that Jason Garrett had that became public, he could have had that very conversation with Dak and said, you know what, I talked to Dak. There are some things that he needs to work on. He knows what he needs to work on. We've talked about it, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But to say everything, Skip?
Correct. Which brings us back to your opening point, which is the one position you cannot scathingly publicly critique is that position.
Right.
Quarterback is the hardest position to me by far to play in all of sports. It's just hard, man.
Yes.
You got to process 7 things in a row like that with people trying to knock you on your tail.
Yes.
Trying to hurt you. And after a while, if it starts to go south, your confidence, did he lose? I told you thought he didn't lose any confidence. I think he did because he was getting rocked from his blind side. And after a while, you start to flinch a little bit.
I thought he lost confidence in the guys because he saw that he didn't have guys, and he's looking at guys around. He's looking at other guys. He's looking at second-year quarterback in Jared Goff, and he's looking at all these weapons that he has. His Todd Gurley is going to be gone for 6 weeks as far as Zeke Elliott. He's looking at Carson Wentz, and he sees Alshon making plays. He sees Ernst making plays, Torrey Smith, Aguilar. He sees all his guys making plays, all these second-year quarterbacks making plays, in which he had a better rookie season than both of them. And then come sophomore, he's like, well, they went and got him some weapons. I ain't got nothing. They stayed pat because that's the biggest mistake you can make, Skip. A lot of times when teams go 13-3, they don't do it. They don't change anything. But you see, it's easy. We're going to see.
Well,
we're going to see what they do as far as the receiver position and see what upgrades they make
I
to help Dak Prescott improve.
They better downgrade number 88 and get him out of there. That's what they better do. But bottom line, on Jason Garrett, he played this position. He was a backup. He was pretty good. He won a couple of big games for them.
Yeah, he did.
So you would think he, of all people, would know not to do that.
Right.
Did he ever do this to Tony Romo one time? I can't remember it.
No.
No.
But he's
It's a little spicy for Jason Garrett. Maybe he's
Maybe it's the new guy.
Maybe he's
I don't know.
changing. Yeah.
Maybe.
He's red here, a little fiery. Maybe he get a little fiery, a little spunk on it. Heard what you said, talking about all that clapping.
Coach
now
clap.
he clapping. Now he clapping. now he clapping at your
Clapping
quarterback.
back,
Clapping back.
Clapping at your quarterback.
Next up, it's no secret the Broncos are looking for a new quarterback.